Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minor League Esports. We're back with the final match of Showdown Saturday. I'm Squid, joined now by Sniper Gus to finish off this wonderful night. And we're here with the Premier League action of the Comets versus the Spartans, and I've been waiting for this one all night long. How about you, Sniper?
I'm super excited for this. The first Premier League game on the MLE channel. I'm super stoked.
Well, let's not waste any more time. The players certainly are Comets. On the blue side of the ball, light blue that is, and the Spartans represented in the maroon. I suppose that color I'll go with. And actually, you noted, before we got started with this one, the Spartans' present roster is the same as the Comets' Champion League roster from last season, and ISO Solo is going to be starting it off for the Comets. They want revenge for losing their players.
Yep, and really good control on this one. A good challenge on Blagden to win that possession out, and a lot of good air control to make sure he gets the follow-up, get that first goal of the game out of the way for them.
Comets got an early one. Less than half a minute in. Oh, and here we go. I'll see the Spartans can respond. It'll be KC Colts to lead the charge downfield. Nice off the back wall. Gonna find Tunloink, moving it downfield even farther. 1-2-1, straight into the corner. They'll be able to score. Does not look like it. KC Colt's gonna shut that one down real quick. Can he get it around Tunloink back into center? ISO's ready for their shot. Actually opts for the fake. There's still an opportunity. Tunloink's gonna put it back on target, and they've got another one.
Yeah, ISO had a really tough angle to try and score this from, with Blagden cutting across hard, but by getting the fake out there, he creates a great opportunity for Tunloink to just beat out KC Colts, and this is exactly the starts the Comet wants to have. Come out, establish dominance early, and make the Spartans play from behind.
I'll just see if they fizzle out or not. But plenty of time to move forward for the Spartans. ISO gonna put another one towards the net. KC Colts with a nice and easy touch off to the side. Able to follow it up. Crosses the field over to Blagden. Picking this one up, sending it towards the net. Not really going to be much doing on that one, because ISO has a nice and easy touch. The Spartans not yet really had a quality shot to put towards the net. The Comets now looking to set up shop in the offensive end. ISO playing defensively at the midfield line. 50-50, a little bit out of his favor. Blagden can't make the read on that one. It might be a runaway ball for Tunloink. KC Colts is going to have to make a play off the back wall, but they're having to reset once again.
Yeah, but that demo is going to give the Spartans a lot of breathing room, and this is what they want to do, control the pace of the game and be in charge. This is their second season playing together, so that chemistry should be working out stronger for them than we've seen in the opening minutes.
The first 2 minutes have come and gone at this point. As we pass the 3-minute mark, Comets maintain their 2-goal lead. And most of the possessions so far this game, Spartans have 2 shots on the board, but nothing too threatening so far. ISO out of the corner, quickly shut down by KC coming out of his own net. Moving this one far downfield, all the way to the back wall. He might even have a center on that. Too bad his teammate couldn't close that gap. Blagden was playing respectively in the midfield. Probably wasn't expecting such a good center off of that play, to be perfectly honest. With 2 Comets players on that ball, it was incredible that KC Colts was able to get it to the back wall at all. They're still on the offense. With Blagden pushing that one downfield, he's looking for a dunk. Opts for the boost steal instead, and will be able to cut in on that one. KC Colts to get it away from ISO. Tunloink long down the field. Great touch there from Blagden, putting it off his own back wall to try and get it out into the midfield, but that one's going to get past both of them. KC Colts taking him out, but Blagden was not prepared for that.
Yeah, Blagden does good to play this off the backboard, but KC Colts was on the wrong side of the field to go out and get the clear, and so ISO and Tunloink were able to maintain the control and keep the pressure on. And it just seems like Blagden and KC aren't on the same page right now, and that's why they're being out-pressured by the Comets.
Past the half now. As you mentioned, the Comets have had all the pressure so far this game. There's really been nothing doing for the Spartans. A couple of balls crossing the goal line once or twice, but always parallel, not necessarily perpendicular. It's usually the direction you want to be crossing the goal line in, unless it's your own. Good pinch from those players, moving it downfield, but it'll just fall to Tunloink. Not going to be able to control that touch, however. KC Colts will try and gain some ground. ISO with a long return. They might be able to score off of this when Blagden's in the air. Well, that one has moved out to center. Once again, Tunloink's going to have to move backfield. But I'm still not really feeling that much pressure coming from the Spartans as they move downfield here. KC can't get that one on target. I like the idea. Blagden's going to try and continue, but he has to back off for a boost, and that might be the end of that.
Yeah, Blagden's been really conservative following up those centers coming from the offensive side, and it means that those centers aren't creating opportunities for them. Whereas when Blagden is the first one up there, KC plays it a lot more aggressive. So I think they need Blagden to be their point man if that's how their offense is going to work better.
Indeed, it seems that way. Spartans could definitely use a change of pace here with 1 minute remaining. Still down by 3. Things looking bleak at this stage in the game. Let's see if they can even put one on, but there's Tumlook. He's going to put another for the Colts. Or, sorry, the Comets. Why? I don't even know where that came from. I'm thinking of KC Colts on the other side of the ball, but still a great angle here from Tumlook. And if you're Blagden, you can't do much against that.
Yeah, Blagden's stuck in a really awkward position. His car's facing back towards the net as that's played in the corner, so he can't get turned around and properly challenge that in time. He just has to hope that he can guess the angle the shot's going to come at. You never want to be in that position, and KC was just too far away to help him.
So now in the final minute of gameplay, Spartans looking like it's going to be a loss here in game number 1 of this series of 5. Still plenty of time to remedy and get yourselves together, but honestly, what needs to be the biggest change for them, honestly, because it's very difficult to tell what they really are strong doing. Their defense seems to hold once or twice per game, but the Comets always find a way through somehow. Their offense just seems to be a little bit too few and far between. I just don't see enough threatening shots from the Spartans, personally.
Yeah, they're not connecting on their passes, and so even when it looks like they kind of are taking a shot, there's not a lot of threat into it, and that means that the Comets can play a very relaxed and safe defense, and when you're playing safe, confident defense, you're going to be able to get the saves and transition to a strong counterattack, and that's exactly what they saw. Great shot efficiency at 50% there. They make their saves, they transition into the goal. But, I mean, when you've got an absolute stud like Tunloik on the team, that's what you expect to see. He was top 5 in almost every statistical category in last season's Champion League. So they expect to be winning games with him on the field. It's up to the Spartans to figure out how to stand up to that challenge.
I mean, early on in this game, it looked like they were able to maybe put up a little bit of a fight, but nothing like we've seen so far. I mean, the Spartans... With 0 goals at the end of regulation, it just makes you wonder. They had 5 shots. Comets met every one of those, except for one. That one was not on target. So they need more effective shots. As you were mentioning, their passing plays, not necessarily the greatest. We've seen plenty better from Premier League teams before, and I want to see them try and get it started up, but I want to give a lot of respect to the opponents as well, because as you mentioned, Comets so good at making those counterattacks, and, you know, sometimes the 1v1 play, or, sometimes 1v0 plays, generally pretty efficient for the opposing team, so getting that one across the goal line isn't too difficult, but they always have future games, and as we move into game number 2, it'll be up to them to adjust. Can the Comets maintain their lead, or the Spartans strike back? I don't know, maybe they'll form a defensive phalanx or something. Womp womp. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I knew you wouldn't be sorry about that.
Come on, that was way too intentionally sorry about it. But here we go, game number 2, 5 fresh minutes on the clock. Spartans and Comets going at it once again. Will Tunloik be able to get 3 goals matching his previous record from game number 1? We'll have to find out. But here are the Spartans opening up on the offense this time around. Tunloik just a little bit slow to that ball. KC Colts off the crossbar and away. Where is Blagden? He's playing a little bit slow in the midfield. He'll still get the shot through, though. And I wonder what happened to the defensive line, because I feel like the Comets should have been there for that.
Well, Isoslo got bonked way out of the play up into the corner there, and Tunloik just didn't have a good angle, and then Iso bumped him on his way through, so that's where the goal comes from directly. But I like the fast start from the Spartans. Come out, create pressure. Blagden does what he needs to and is getting more involved in that push, even when KC brings the ball up. So this is a good sign for the Spartan fans. If they can keep this up, we've got a series on our hands.
I do agree, Blagden getting more involved in that play. He was a little bit slow on the draw, but I think he's given a lot of respect to his opponents, and as we mentioned, that can generally be a good idea. You don't want to overcommit on those kinds of situations, and a good back pass there from KC to Blagden. And now they're trying to push downfield right here. Iso's going to shut that one down rather quickly, and a shot towards the net. It's a great shot, and Blagden's not going to be able to get it away. Looks like a rather textbook save, but Tunloik runs away with that one.
Yeah, Tunloik has this placed in a really good spot, almost all the way in the corner, and Blagden just a touch slow up to that thing. He gets gets a little bit of the car on it, but not enough to seriously affect the trajectory.
Well, now Tunlock looking at potential kickoff goal. Blagden will be there to shut it down this time around. Not twice in a row. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, he says. They won't be fooled the second time. Spartans trying to set up shop here. No such luck. Midfield line will be in favor of ISO, and he's going to get a nice touch to the left side. Feels backflip, man, and it finds its way into the back of the net.
ISO playing the long, patient game on this one, not doing a whole lot with the ball, but managing to split the defense anyway. I think a little miscommunication from KC and Blagden about whose responsibility that was, and Blagden, in his hurry to try and cover for KC, pulls the feels backflip, just the most demoralizing thing you can do in a game.
That analysis is rather accurate, I'm afraid. Happens once in a while. It's just a simple mechanical error, nothing that can't be fixed. The Spartans still have a bit in this game. That one's going to be a little bit dangerous. No danger, though, for Blagden. We'll be able to touch it off to the side. Tumblin gets a hand on it. Now KC Colts down over to Blagden. I like the passing play, but they don't have a third man to finish it off here. They'll be moving down the other way with a free touch. There's KC Colts. Nice easy, over top of the net. We'll be able to get that one away as well. Bit of a double commit, won't punish them. Not immediately, at least. This one's going to favor Blagden. Potential 1v1 situation. He's going to watch for the demo. Nice flick up high. KC Colts not in position to play with it, though. That 50-50 will fall over to Tumblr, and they'll start moving it downfield. Again, good stuff from the Spartans. Their transition, it was slow and steady, and it looked like they were starting to win out on it, and then they just kind of gave up, and like I said, a bit of a miscommunication caused them to lose possession entirely, and now that one's almost on target. ISO's going to be up for the follow. It's off the crossbar. They found Purchase. Tumblr can't put it away, and now Blagden will have a free ball to get it out.
And it almost seems like the Comets are toying with them a little bit. They're giving the Spartans a ton of space to work with, and just kind of hoping that the Spartans will hang themselves with that rope. And that can work well for you, but at the same time, once you get up into the Grand Champion levels, there's just too much skill for that to be a good long-term plan for winning games.
Ooh, okay. Demos. Things starting to get spicy. Spartans living up to their ferocious nature. KC can't turn that one in. Off the post and just barely out. Tumbling rather quick to that ball as well. So props there on the defense, not giving up on that one. Bit of a missed opportunity, but a threatening one at that, and they'll see if they can start taking that pressure and moving it forward. Tumbling forces this one onto the side blade and trying to drop it down for KC. No contact made, though. He'll start moving down the other way, and the Spartans will lose possession just as quickly as they gained it.
Yeah, and KC Colts is really doing a good job trying to get this thing under control. Blagden just seems to be a little bit confused as to where to be sometimes, and then he stops and lets himself get demoed right there. Great heads-up read by ISO to see that opportunity and snuff it out in time.
Oh, and great speed from Tumbling there.
Beautiful.
Tumbling getting to this ball was a thing of beauty. He recognized that he could beat out Blagden in this situation, and being the last man back, you really have to respect the option of the opponent on that one. He thought he could get there first, but you mentioned that Tumbling has a rather... he has a nice reputation for being the best, apparently. So, I mean, you gotta really respect that in that scenario.
Yeah, Tunlink is somebody who you can just never count out of a play. His mechanical skill is really good. He spent a lot of time here in the MLD making plays like this look easy, and you know, it showed in his stats last season. He made it into the playoffs with his team, and he just continues to look like a force to be reckoned with. Even though it's a new league, it's the same old Tunlink we've known and loved.
And a big punish there. Blagden just couldn't make contact with that ball, and now the Spartans in a rather deep hole with only 3/4 of a minute remaining. Comets looking to take aim number 2 and move on to match point in this series. Of course, we're in a classic MLE fashion. We're going to be playing out all 5 regardless of the series score. There's some major improvements that need to be made on the red side of the ball if they want to have a chance at taking this one. Final 30 now. Honestly, lots more life out of the Spartans, but it's just getting shut down at every turn by the Comets. They got to pick it up once again. Their offense looked decent in the first half of the game, but right now the shot differential speaks for itself. 10-3 in favor of the Comets. Things not looking so hot. Tumblink has managed to match his goal count for the last game and add another one to it.
Yeah, and for the Spartans' part, they're doing a good job of getting to the ball. They just don't seem to be hitting it with a ton of purpose. They're getting there and winning out on their challenges, but dropping the ball into dead space where nobody is or giving it right back to the Comets. They have to be able to find each other on the other end of those touches. Otherwise, they're going to be continuing to concede possession and giving up the goals to the Comets.
I do agree with you there, and I mean part of that might be speed contributing to that. I mean, you think about tunneling, how many times tunneling and ISO have scored goals just by being that little bit quicker to the ball than their opponents, and when you think about that, it shows. I mean, tunneling has been doing such a great job. We saw that one goal against Blagden on the side. I don't recall which goal that it was, but it was just easy for him. Like, he was there, he was fast. Blagden didn't give him enough respect, and suddenly the ball's in the back of your net. That's the kind of thing you have to realize is a very real threat. Tunneling is just that quick to the ball. If you don't give him the respect that he deserves, he's going to start just planting balls in your net that you didn't even expect to get near to the goal line because you thought you had it every day of the week. So that's one thing they're going to have to improve on. So it's just the one thing, I think. Give some respect to your opponents, please.
Yeah, you can't come at this game as the Spartans and act like this is going to be easy for you. You have to know who you're facing off against and have a plan for how to deal with it. And it just seems like they don't have the plan on how they're going to win this game. And it shows right here on this kickoff. KC is trying to take care of business here in a one-on-one situation, and Blagden is slow on the rotate and can't give him any help. Now he's in a 2v1 situation.
But I gotta give a lot of props to ISO for that one, really forcing the issue against KC. Not giving much space to work with. I feel like KC Colts could have afforded to be a bit more aggressive, but at the same time, you want to respect his opponent. Now a demo against Blagden. It's an open net. You mentioned how Blagden's slow on the rotation. Where in the world was KC on this one?
Yeah, KC with a slow recovery and then just no flips, no boost really expended trying to get back there. As soon as Blagden got demoed, he realized that was almost a forlorn cause and just kind of gave up on that play. And that's something you can't do if you're the Spartans. This is game 3 of the series. This is still winnable for them if they can get it turned around and start stepping up to the Comets.
I will say, to be fair, that was basically immediately off the kickoff. The Comets are so quick to that ball, I'm not sure if KC even had much time to rotate. Save just going straight back off of the face-off. Obviously, wanted that side boost, though. So just major props to the Comets, I suppose. Being aggressive on the offensive end, and they've earned themselves a 2-goal lead rather early on in this game. The Spartans have been able to respond with 1 goal so far since game 2. They're on quite a drought at the moment. Tunloin gonna push this one to the back wall. ISO in the midfield, pops it over top of Blagden off the crossbar. It's still not quite in. There's Tun, he can't put it in, but ISO is there to make sure that it ends up across the goal line. Very nice play from the Comets.
Yeah, and as soon as nobody comes out and challenges the first shot on this one, I knew this would end in the back of the net. You have to challenge the ball when it's in that final quarter of the field right there in front of your own net. Grand Champion players are not missing those shots more than twice. You have to get that challenge made. You have to get the ball cleared out of the danger zone, or you watch the replay of your team getting scored on.
That, or at least make some sort of effective challenge to make them realize that you're a legitimate threat, able to get the ball out. But if the Comets feel comfortable in that offensive end, then they're never going to leave. And they're trying to move it down there at the moment. In KC without any boost right here, this might be ineffective. Blagden was able to get it past Tunloing there. Right here comes ISO. Taken away rather quickly. Can KC 1v1 this out? Not quite, but it's returning to center. Blagden's there, no contact made, and that might be a transition the other way. ISO's going to toss it up high. Tunloing for the shot on. Can't put it quite inside of the post. And KC will be able to touch it off to the corner. But again, the Comets so quick moving that ball downfield, you gotta be careful that you're not making a misplay.
Yeah, the Comets are playing fast and loose with the ball right now because they're playing really confidently and they just don't feel threatened by the Spartans at all. And that could come back to bite them if the Spartans can get control of themselves and really put a concerted effort into finishing on their offensive side of the field.
A good effort from KC. Getting back recently on that overcommitment. That's one thing I was literally just noting before it happened. And here might be another one. ISO moving downfield has no contest. You can't keep letting this happen. Casey only barely made the save the last time this went around, and this time, touching it in the midfield, your player isn't able to play. It just goes straight to ISO. You're basically passing to the opponents at that point, and the Comets are going to walk all over you for it. You gotta get that in line.
Yep, and it starts with the double commit in the corner there. They're just not communicating clearly about whose responsibility this ball is. There's one, the first Spartan goal we've seen in what feels like forever, and hopefully this can be the spark they need to get back in this fight.
They had a 4-1 scoreline last match at one point as well, and honestly, if you want to have faith in the Spartans, you can. Right now, the Comets are looking to be on fire, though. As you mentioned, maybe it'll give them a bit of a morale boost. Honestly, they haven't been playing so hot, and I feel like it might just be like either one of these players having a bad day. I honestly feel like, I'm sorry to call out Black on this one, but I really feel like there's a lot of touches that he's missed that he doesn't normally miss. So that might be a contributing factor. Maybe Tunlor's just feeling incredibly fast. Either way you slice it, Spartans just not looking as good as they could be looking at the moment. They got 2 minutes to try and remedy that, but in my experience, not necessarily enough time. And the Comets are going to continue on their offense right there. ISO can't get that one out to Tunloink for the net. Moving to the midfield, KC with a speculation onto the net. No such luck. And it'll continue to move parallel to their opponent's goal line. Touch up high. Keeping this one in the corner, looking to possess as well. Touchdown to Blagden, accidentally double taps it, but it will keep it away from potential offense, but not if you leave it there for too long. Tunloik's going to come in on that, and now it's pitched down the other way. Is that on target? It's going to bounce up high. Oh my god. The Spartans get a goal off of what might be the silliest panic play I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is just silly there. It looks like this should have been a Comets goal. Plain as day when Blagden mistouches that backwards against his own backboard. But then the combination of all three players rushing into that ball there takes a favorable turn for Blagden. And now with the lead cut down to 2, this is manageable if they can, keep the Comets out of their end zone.
Oh my god. Are you serious? Did that actually just happen? Another end-to-end goal? Play of the week right here. Those last 2 goals as a unit, play of the week.
I'm shocked, but this is great. We go from down by 4 goals to now it's a 1-goal game with a minute left. The Spartans finally showing the life that they need to, even if it's coming in the strangest way we could have predicted.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Kickoff goal! Ladies and gentlemen, we are tied up in game 3.
What? Comets, what happened? What are you doing?
This is Rocket League, man.
No. This isn't Rocket League. Something's going on. Alright, somebody's paying the Comets to throw. Who's paying the Comets? I see you out there. I'm watching the chat. Fess up. Who's doing this? Can't believe this. Oh my god, now pinch down the other way. That's Tunloink. I still wasn't there for it, but oh my... Seriously. We're talking about the Spartans. Oh yeah, quit overcommitting, guys. Like that's your big problem. Is like you're leaving a lot of open space, and then 3 consecutive goals, where it's just an overcommit from the Comets. I'm sure a couple of them were end-to-end, but the fact remains that you didn't have anybody on the defense. And now the Spartans are in it. There's life here. They just need to get 1. There was an opportunity there. Casey Colts did feel backflip, though. Gonna try and slow down Tunloink. Blagden can't inherit this one at the midfield. Gonna look for a second opportunity. Trying to keep it away from the opponents. Maybe the Spartans just want overtime at this point. They'll take anything that isn't a loss. Casey, out of the midfield. 50-50 out of his favor. Tunloink might still have boost in the tank for this one. Gonna take a shot on target. Great save from Blagden. What he's been lacking in personal skill so far today, definitely made up for that clutch save there. Keeping them in this game. Looking for the bump on Tunloink. It's dropped down to ISO. Looking for the recenter. Tunloink in no position to make that play. We have overtime.
Yep, and I kind of like this for the Spartans. Their last goal was a kickoff goal, so hey, let's take another kickoff and see if we can make some magic happen again. 200
IQ. Well and truly. But here we go. Comets threatening on the offensive end right off a face-off. Bit of an awkward situation here. No contact from... Oh my god! Is that the ultimate team play? It's off the backboard. Does he have the read? No, ISO's gonna get in the way. Casey Colts might still have a chance here. The Spartans buried in the back of the net. They have their game 3 victory in what might be the stupidest comeback I've ever seen, but still the most hopeful.
And Tunloink just flipping the wrong direction here. If he gets that direction right before he hits the dodge, they get that cleared out, and this shot never comes in. but instead we have a 5-goal comeback, and the Spartans take game 3, and hey, suddenly we got a match on our hands.
No, this is the Spartans right now, just like, yeah, we take those.
Hey, you take the wins however they come. And, you know, if it has to start with 2 long clears from silly situations and then a kickoff goal, and hey, we're back in this thing, you're going to take that.
That's the way you do. You know?
So, going into
Play of the week.
Play of the week. Sure, I'll take that. So, going into game 4, the question is, was this a fluke, or is this the resurgence that we need for the Spartans to take the series? I'm rooting for the Spartans right now.
I know everyone in the chat. I've seen a lot of Spartan love in the chat, and I know that it was great and all, and it was like the most hopeful comeback I've ever seen. That does not change the fact that it was incredibly silly, and I completely think that was a fluke. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, a lot of the time I like to play benefit of the doubt, but I do not believe that was calculated or under control by any means by the Spartans. So, now for game 4, can they pull out more of their magical good karma? I feel like they just like saved up all of their good luck and used it on that one game. So do they have deeper pockets than that? Or is that the end for the Spartans? We'll have to find out. The Comets beginning on the attacking half. It'll be ISO looking for a pass over to Tunloin, continues off the side wall. Casey Colts will earn himself a save with that one, earning them a lot of ground as well. That's a great bonus. Tunloin looking to control this one. Great takeaway by Casey Colts. That's playable for Blagden. Can he be in position for it? He's going for a demo instead. Misses ISO by a mile. Don't necessarily dislike the idea, but I feel like he was supposed to be the striker in that situation.
A little bit, yes, but when you get in front of that ball, you can forgive trying to go for that demo there. It's a really good play. But the thing I've really noticed about Blagden's play tonight is he's very hesitant to use his dodges just rolling around the field, and so he's expending a lot of boost while rolling on the ground. And so if his boost economy is a little out of whack because of that, it really explains why he seemed slow tonight. So definitely something to keep an eye out for him as Tunloink gets the first goal in of game 4, beats 1, beats 2, and suddenly this looks more like how most of the series has looked.
And again, not a lot of respect for your opponents on that one, I feel. Casey Colts was looking pretty straightforward on the ball there instead of playing sideways on the goal line as expected. I mean, he was kind of sideways, but from the angle of approach, it was mostly facing straight towards it. So simple mistakes. Again, simple mistakes are so easily corrected, so you can get down on yourself for it. But that's going to be a simple mistake you're going to regret for the rest of your life. Blagden just barely missing out on that touch, and it's going to punish hard.
Yeah, and really this starts with Casey's missed clear. You know, if he gets that up and over the head of the attacker, then Blagden isn't even put in this position where he has to pre-jump the save and try to predict it. So, you know, really not Blagden's fault in this case, but you still have to hope you can make those saves. And Blagden burned once again. Tunloink with a hat trick in 1 minute and 33 seconds. Just, man is stacking hats on top of his head. This is not Team Fortress. We're not collecting hats.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Yes?
Are you sure? Can we
No.
please, can we get a Team Fortress mod in Rocket League, please, where we just have like infinite hats on top of our heads? That would actually be legendary. I want to see that. April Fools at Psionics, I want to see that. But in all reality, I feel like Blagden was really fast to that ball. I feel like he wasn't thinking about it that much. He's going to get one here. A good passing play. There's Casey Colts finding Blagden. He's quick to that one, and he plants it in the back of the net. So I guess you kind of made up for it, but you're still -1 in my book.
Yep, finally fast to the ball. This is what we want to see out of Blagden. Get up there and be ready to receive that pass from KC Colts, because he has done a good job of getting the centers off. There's just been nobody there for him. If they can keep that up, the Spartans can climb back into this in a far more legitimate fashion than we saw in Game 3, but not if Iso and Tunlong have anything to do with it.
And, well, Spartans drew their cards, and they didn't draw a demo dodge, so unfortunately that one's going to find its way through. A heads-up play by Iso, and I'm not going to take that away from him. Tunlong is running away with the goals. His goals per game after this series is going to be astronomical, so at least there's that. Iso with 3 assists so far. Blagden with a potential open net. Can he get to it? Tumbling, no touch, and it finds its way through. 2-4. Spartans are still in this one. I don't think there was any really doubt about that one, but here, I mean, there you go. Hang on.
And Blagden showing a lot of patience and perseverance there. He's got a hard challenge to win right there in the midfield where he has almost no momentum to win that challenge out. So he does a great job to beat ISO and then just gets Tunlunk confused, and he won't stay confused for long because really he is just the consummate predator. He doesn't want to play defense. He just wants to score goals.
Where is the defense for the Spartans there? Because I feel like 2 things happened here. Okay, KC probably thought that Blagden was going to be back post on that one and will be able to come out for an aerial like that. Or he thought that he was going to be able to make a challenge on that ball and was not giving nearly enough respect to his opponents, or just like vastly misread that situation because he was nowhere close to being in a good spot to either challenge that ball or make a defensive play. And there's right there. They don't really have anybody at the center. They're just kind of waiting on the sides. They're leaving a large portion of the net open. He could have easily placed that one in the bottom right-hand corner, and nice save by ISO. And again, an entire open net to shoot at. He can't put it through.
A very reactionary game so far from the Spartans. They are just trying to respond to whatever the Comets have been giving them, and that's not a winning formula in Rocket League. You have to take command of the ball and the game possession in order to get out on top. And a rare goal coming out from ISO, not because he's not a tremendous player, just because Tunlunk has been scoring all of the goals for no particular reason. Islo feeling good about that one.
And again, Spartans didn't have anybody back for that one. I'm looking at this play, and I'm telling you, watch the VOD, because there is some serious, like, team coordination breakdown going on right here. But I don't want to sound mean or rude. That's just what it feels like. I mean, the Spartans feel like a broken couple of puzzle pieces right now. Like, puzzle pieces that don't fit together. I feel like both of them have, like, individual, like, traits that they're bringing to the table, but the Comets are just piling on goal after goal because they can never find out how to effectively put themselves into a great team play.
And if we'd had a little more lead-in time coming into this match, I would have told you that I favored the Spartans to come out and win this, because having played together in the last season of MLE, you expect them to have a level of cohesion greater than what 2 players who are new to each other would have. But to not see that, and to see them just not on the same page, not connecting on their passes, missing their defensive rotation, is a huge surprise. And I think that speaks to the quality of Tunlike and ISO as players, is that they really have gotten Blagden and KC just out of their element and confused about the right thing to do. I think this is not the final form of the Spartans. This is a team that will get better over time. They just have to come out and get back to what they know works for them.
All right, can I do it? Can I do it?
Go ahead.
This isn't even my final form! All right, there we go. I just had to get that out. Sorry. It was just a thing that, you gotta do once in a while. But in all reality, I have to agree with you. I mean, you were talking about the Comets looking really good. You're giving a lot of credit to the Comets there, and I don't disagree by any means. But I feel like, to the credit of the Spartans, I feel like, well, I said earlier, I feel like maybe they're just having a bit of a bad day, especially Blagden. Like I mentioned, missing a lot of stuff that he doesn't usually miss. I mean, I've played with and against this player before. He's solid. He's a good player. I love playing with him, and he's able to make all the plays that he needs to make. Right here, we just haven't seen that, and I feel like that might be compounded by the fact that we're playing on a stream with about 100 people watching, 100 of his peers at that, and so I feel like he might be getting a little bit nervous at his lack of performance. So he's just kind of, it's just kind of deteriorating over time, and I kind of feel bad at that point.
Yeah, playing on stream is a whole new level of stress to pile onto Rocket League. You're playing in the newly created Premier League, on a fairly storied franchise for the Spartans. They've done some really good things in the past. And so you've got a lot of pressure on you in this situation. And sometimes that can cause teams to crumble. Again, you don't expect that from 2 players who played a previous season of MLD, not only individually, but together. But, the start of the season can bring those jitters out. I definitely expect this Spartans configuration to get better as the season goes on.
Well, there are good news. The Spartans, I mean, regardless of the fact that they lost the series, can still hold the Comets to a 3-2 victory. That remains to be seen behind the curtains that are game number 5. With a scoreline like this, a goal differential of 5, I'm not certain what the outcome will be. However, we did see earlier. Oh boy, it was the first match I had. I can't remember who it was again. Let me find it. It was the Ducks and the Foxes. We saw the Ducks lose 6-1 in game 2, and then they still made a series out of it. So, anything can really happen. You never know what to say, and the one pattern I was noticing is that the Spartans actually only scored 1 goal in both of the games that they lost, and they scored more than 2 in the game that they won. So I was kind of hoping that pattern would hold true. It did not. They scored 2 goals in the last match and still ended up taking quite the beating there. I'm not going to lie. But fresh 5 minutes. You got a clean slate. Make the most of your situation. See what you can do.
And one thing that will work in the Spartans' advantage here is
scoring goals.
It's scoring goals, most definitely. But now that the Comets have the series in hand, they've got their 3 wins. Sometimes teams will get a little complacent there. They'll step off of the gas, and that will widen any openings that the Spartans have and give them a chance to make this series look a little more fair than it felt for most of it, because all 3 wins for the Comets were very commanding, whereas the 1 win for the Spartans was an overtime affair.
I mean, thinking about it in that critical lens, the Spartans... Oh my god! What? That's not legal. I saw somebody talking about hacks in the chat earlier, but I didn't believe them. Now I believe them.
Just a beautiful ground pinch from Tunloik, and that's one thing that I've always loved about air dribble, is that even if you don't quite get the actual air dribble set up, you still have so many options for what to do to that ball, and just smashing it into the ground like that can be such an effective attack, because players don't expect the ball to move that fast along the floor of the arena.
Very, very true. Now the Spartans on defense right here. Tunloik, he gets another one. It's just underneath the crossbar off the bounce shot and really confused the defender there, but they've got the lead really easily off that.
Yep, and ISO won't get credit for this goal here, but the assist will mean a lot, because he just plays absolute bully there in the net to clear the defender out and set the opportunities up for Tunloik. And that's really been the story of the game. As many goals as Tunloik has put up, so many of them were set up by beautiful physical play from ISO, either demoing or bumping defenders out of the way to create those opportunities. So don't let it feel like Tunloik did this all by himself. ISO has fully been carrying his weight, just not in a way you see on the scoreboard as much.
Oh, I've been making a Tunloik carry sign. Oops. I guess I should change that. Oops.
Well, I mean, if you want, but you'd be wrong.
Ooh, that's dangerous. ISO's gonna be able to get it away, though. Bit of a strange situation in front of the goal line there. No contact from Tunloik. Well, there was contact, but it was incredibly weak and rather ineffective. That's what we're looking for. Spartans looking to keep up the offense here at Tunloik. Bit of an awkward spot. It will drop down in front. Blagden gets 50'd away by ISO. He's in the back of the net now. KC Colts is going to be in charge of this defense now alone for just a moment. Blagden trying to get up for that one. Does force it up high for KC with the easy clear. Tunloik to keep it in the zone. Following it up as well. Around 1, not around 2. Blagden with an easy touch to the side. No contest here. KC Colt's going to shove it off into the corner. Going to see what else he can do with it. Actually fakes out Tunloik. He thought he was going to go for the hit, but no such luck. KC Colt's get a freebie.
Yep, KC Colts gifted the goal there that should have been in for Blagden. He doesn't quite get the control of that one that he needs, but KC's momentum is just so high that he's able to come in and clean it up for Blagden. And then that's probably a piece of good communication. Blagden just said in chat that he had no boost. So if he was able to get that communicated to KC, that's what we want to see. Now they're in the lead. 2:40 left here in Game 5. And the Spartans in position to make this a 3-2 series.
Nasty fake, KC. You can't do that to a man. Come on. Taking out their star player like that, though, I mean, think about it. Tunloik's been doing so solid this whole game. He's been fast to the ball. He's been making effective 50-50s. The works. And then suddenly KC just says, like, stop. hammer time. And they get a goal on, and now here's Blagden looking for one. That's it past Tumloik. There you go. The Spartans have come alive.
Yep, the Spartans have come alive, and you're right. It comes from this change of pace where they can go fast and then they slow down and get the fakes coming through. And when you vary your pace of play and you're controlling the ball, you make your opponents adjust to you, and that's exactly what we wanted to see from the Spartans. And now, a 3-goal lead in the space of like 40 seconds. Here it is. This is the Spartans team we want.
Where did the Comets go?
That's the real question here. Where did the Comets go? What happened? Come on. All right, I think we're gonna have to go back and look at this analytically again. You mentioned how they already had the series, so they might start playing a little bit complacently. On top of that, add the fact that they won last game 7-2. I don't think they were really expecting much out of this match. I think they were kind of expecting it to be a little bit of a pushover, and the Spartans are like, no, go back to playing hard. We are gonna play hard. You're gonna play hard, or you're gonna lose. And that's what's going on right now. The Spartans are playing hard, and the Comets are definitely losing.
Yeah, the Spartans are fighting like their season depends on this, and that's what you want to see. It's not as long a season as we're used to here in MLE, only 7 games before we head towards playoff mode, and so each game is so much more important than they were last season. You don't have time to recover from big, devastating losses, so they want the 3-2 if they have to take the L, and they're fighting for it. And another thing, here at this level, wow, another goal in favor of KC Colts. When you start talking about Grand Champ level players, you're talking about guys that can go out and play in the more open format tournaments that you see week in and week out with cash prizes. And so those guys start to become used to best of series. And so it makes that complacency factor even higher, where they're not used to playing all 5 after they've won their 3.
Indeed it is. ISO's gonna get that one back right here off of the face-off. One comment I do want to make is that as far as the celestial bodies are concerned, I mean, we're not that we're pretty good at finding them, but there are a couple that escape our sight once in a while. And right now on our radar, the Comets defense is nowhere to be found because the Spartans are just planting in goal after goal, seemingly without any sort of contest. I'm kind of wondering what the deal is. I've seen some communication breakdowns from ISO and Tumloik where they've been so solid all series long. And it makes me wonder if that's really what's losing them the game. And now KC with a potential redirect opportunity taps it up for Blagden, and a great passing idea, but it'll be moving down the other way. Tumloik finds ISO, and he's going to be able to transition it downfield into the goal. That's the Comets that we're looking for.
Yep, and KC with just no boost after this. He spent it all on that hover to get the pass over to Blagden, and that has him slow down the field. He doesn't pick up really any of the pennies on the way back, so he just has nothing to go back and make this. Now only 2 goals in 1 minute and 11 seconds left. This could be the turnaround for the Comets to still get their 4-1 victory that they want.
Right. I know from experience, 1 minute is a long time to play defense for, but they can do it. They can't do it, apparently, right there. 1 minute is now forever to play defense. Originally, when they had the 3 or 4 goal lead, they were looking incredibly solid, and it felt like they were going to be impervious for the rest of the game. But now it's like, I'm scared. I'm scared. The Spartans are scared. Look, I know they're Spartans, but I can definitely tell that they're shaking their boots right about now.
Yep, this is not Sparta right now. This is Comets land. And
Comets
a
land.
2-goal lead is a very secure lead because you've got space to make a mistake and come back into it. Now that it's only 1 goal, that can change at any moment. KC with a clutch save. Tumloik picks his pocket anyway. We are tied up in game 5.
And right here, I had full faith in ISO to get that one into the net. A clutch save by KC, as you mentioned, but just nipping that crossbar makes it so much easier to play for Tumloik. He was in the right spot for any sort of situation in that save, except for maybe the post and going back out into the center of the field, but I'm sure that they would have been able to make a play out of it regardless. And now the Comets have 30 seconds to win this one in regulation off of a 3-goal comeback 2 times. I believe the scoreline was 6-3 briefly. But here we go. Final 20 seconds. Can the Spartans bring this one back? Can they say like, okay, all right, we gotta calm down there, and we definitely should not have. But are the Comets gonna be able to bring this one back? Final 10 approaching. ISO pinches it past Blagden. KC, a very dangerous challenge there. He does get a piece of it. Blagden's going to stop it out in the corner. Tumbling a little bit too close to this ball. Can't inherit it. Blagden's going to shove it upfield. He's not going to be able to catch it. We have overtime.
And I think this is a fitting end. You know, the Spartans really have just looked very rough in all of the games that they lost. But going to overtime, they won the only other game there. And so I think this will be a great conclusion to the series. A demo there, 2-on-1. Blagden, safe play.
That whole play was a roller coaster of emotions for me. I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of back and forth spots. Blagden had a shot that was moving down the other way. It looked like it was gonna be a 1v1. The KC Colts got it demoed, and Blagden touched it away, and suddenly we're all safe again. But here we go. Tunlock in a bit of an awkward spot here. He's forcing it into his own corner. Spartan starting up strong right here. Blagden off the back wall. ISO is gonna be quick on it. Doesn't want to leave it in the zone for too long. Here at the midfield, great touch there from KC. Getting it past Tunlock. Might be able to pick up boost here in the corner. Very key pickup. Resource is so important at this stage in the game. Has plenty of boost to take this one up high. Trying to get it down to Blagden. No, it's over top of him. KC Colts is off to the races now. Can he get the ball away? He can. Clutch right there. In a bit of a team bump for the Comets. This might present an opportunity to move straight back downfield, and the Spartans are back at it.
I thought the double commit would have been disastrous for the Spartans, but Casey so calm and collected on that run back there, doing a great job to save it. We're now a minute into this overtime, and the Spartans really looking good here in Game 5.
Indeed they are. The final minute of gameplay was definitely not their strong suit, but they're still here and they're still fighting. And we'll have to see if they come out on top. Tunloink to the corner. Easy save for KC Colt. He'll get a savior medal off it as well. Good way to pad the stats. Touchdown field. We'll have to defer to Tunloink. Bit of an awkward spot right here. Blagden almost forces it through. Good job being quick on that ball. Wants to apply as much pressure as possible. 50-50 with ISO does not go in his favor. It's down the other way. ISO with plenty of boost in the tank. It's an open net. It's on target. The Comets have game number 5 in a 4-1 victory.
And this was the same situation as earlier when KC made that clutch save. They both overcommitted on that offensive push, and when it doesn't work out, now everybody's behind the ball. This time, KC, a little bit shorter on boost, isn't able to beat that out down the field. The Comets will feel very good with their 4-1 win, and I think that's the right result for this series. The Comets felt in control for so much of all 3 of the games that they won very handily. And so for this one to come down to overtime and give us the 4-1, it feels right. It felt like a 4-1 series.
It felt like it should have been a 3-2. Well, actually, no, I'm lying. It should have been a 4-1. I mean, when you're considering the amount of possession that the Comets had, I mean, you have to agree with that. As you mentioned, the 3 victories that were all incredibly one-sided for the Comets were all in their control. And then, I mean, think about the 4th game, game number 3, that the Spartans won. That was still in the Comets' control. Ended up being a little bit wonky in the end. So, I mean, they were just a victim of circumstance there. The Spartans will walk away with that 1 victory. They wish they could have the other one. But I do have to say, regardless of the way they were playing, we obviously touched base on the fact that the Spartans definitely not playing to their fullest potential. There is no way that this Spartan squad would play this way. On like any given day, you could expect the Spartans to play better. So it was just a bad day. It happens. They lost this one. They still managed to get a game back, though. Almost 2. Would have been great if they had been able to get those 2 back, obviously. But they dropped there. Last match of the day, over. I mean, we had overtime in Game 5. What more could you want from it, honestly? I had a good time.
Absolutely. I mean, 2 overtimes in a series is always a fun series to watch. And, you know, it could have just as easily been a 3-2 finish, 4-1. Going to be very happy for the fans of the Comets. For the Spartans, you saw moments of a lot of very good things there. You got to get back in the lab, get everything clicking together, and create more of those moments. And the Spartans will be just as scary a team as those Comets were. So we got a lot of season left ahead of us, but I think this does it for us tonight, right?
I believe so, and I think that's actually the end of broadcasts for the officials channel this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, please somebody tell me otherwise, because I definitely want to be a part of that. Let me actually just check the schedule real quick, and
this is
let's take a look. This is it. All right, unfortunate. Well, we wish we could bring you games every day, but unfortunately, I don't think the players have scheduling time for that, and neither do we. So that's going to be it for us tonight and for the MLE this weekend. Make sure you're tuning in for the affiliate broadcast. I believe they're going to be happening on Thursday is when we had them this week, so I'm not sure if that's going to be the same schedule next week, but the affiliate broadcast, definitely something to check out. We're going to have official games on those broadcasts. Check out the other channels. But we're going to be back with more minor league esports action right here on the official channel next Friday, so make sure you don't miss it. We'll see you next time.